Hi, in this video we will see some of the concepts related to tuples in Python. I'll be sharing my screen. As we have seen that sets and dictionaries are somewhere related. Sets and dictionaries are somewhere related. Both use curly brackets. Okay. Now, tuples have some relation with lists. Okay, and I'll explain why, of course. Now the thing is that how do you define tuple? We have used square brackets, we have used curly brackets. For tuples we will be using round brackets, the parenthesis as we call them. We will be using round brackets, and everything inside separated by commas is taken as a tuple by the compiler. Okay, and the values can be heterogeneous means you can have any type of data inside the tuples. It's not necessary that you have only one type of data. You can have any type of data inside a tuple. One thing, the USP, the selling point of the tuples is that what makes it different from others is that they are immutable. Once you have created the tuple, there is no chance of any kind of manipulation inside a tuple. So once created, they are just, as in Hindi we say patthar ki lakir. So once created, they cannot be changed. To create a tuple, we have the syntax. Just everything inside round bracket separated by comma is treated as an item for a tuple, and if you print the type, then it will print class tuple as the type. Now as we just saw that the items can be heterogeneous, so here it is very clear that we are inserting string, integer, float, string, float, right? And we are having a tuple inside of a tuple inside of a tuple, right? So you can just have anything inside a tuple. Now talking about some of the similarities between list and the tuple, both are sequential data types. So as if you remember that sets and dictionaries were not ordered, they were unordered, whereas tuples and list both are ordered data type, DRAT. Okay, right. The functions like length and type, they work on both of the data structure, and both are iterable. Given the similarities, there are also some differences between the list and the tuple. We will be looking at them now. First difference is very, देखने में you can just see that is the use of the different brackets. Here the list use a square bracket, whereas the tuple use the round bracket. Now the thing is that list data structure has more number of methods than the tuples, because it's very clear, because in list you can have manipulation techniques. Now you can manipulate the list, so obviously the number of methods will be more there. That is very obvious. Another thing is the list occupy more space, whereas tuple occupy less space, and this is the difference. Yeah, okay. And the lists are mutable and tuples are immutable. Once created, you just cannot change a tuple. Okay, and but the thing about the tuple is they are made very quickly by the compiler. Okay, they are processed very quickly as compared to any other data structure. Okay, now there are certain ways to create tuples. If you're interested in creating an empty tuple, okay, an empty tuple or a tuple with just one value, if you do something like this, that is just specify something inside a round bracket, then mathematically it is equal to this bracket के अंदर 30 is equal to normal 30. So the compiler is going to take it as an integer, right? So if you have to specify it as a tuple, you will have to put a comma here. So this particular syntax is going to make this variable a tuple. Okay, comma is mandatory to tell the compiler that it is a tuple in case of a single element. And if you have to create an empty tuple, you can just leave nothing inside the round bracket. But I don't think there is any point of creating an empty tuple, because there are no modification, there are no manipulation techniques. So if you have created an empty tuple, you cannot modify it later on. So what is the point of creating an empty tuple? Yeah. Now there are certain ways to pack or unpack tuples. Tuples, usually we use tuples when we have data from some data source, and we need to import that data in our code, right? So in the code we import that data as tuple. Okay, so the data need not to be changed. Okay, so that is why that is the major application of using tuples. Now what is extraction? So basically if you have a tuple, if you have one tuple, okay, and you want to extract the items inside the changeable variables or mutable variables, then you can do two things. Okay, first thing is you can do random access, the 0 1 2 kind of thing. Yeah, it is allowed here in dictionaries and sets. This was not allowed. Yeah, so you can just simply do first variable, the survey, and the first 0th index, then the first index and the second index. Or there is another way to do it, and that way is you have this particular tuple, and you can specify all three variables, and you can put a equal to, and you can specify the tuple. Okay, now the order will be maintained when the items will be copied. The order is going to be maintained, and the one major point that we have to keep in consideration is that the number of variables that you are passing and the number of items in the tuple, they need to be same. If they are not same, then it will be throwing some error. Okay, now talking about indexing inside a tuple, then we have similar type of indexing as we had in list. The same type of indexing in the tuples. We have zero based indexing, and we have negative indexing. We have negative and we have zero based indexing. Now if you use this command, this is going to print the entire tuple. This is going to print the element at the 0th index, that is the first element. This is going to print the range. Once again, whenever you are printing the range, you have to keep in mind that the starting element is included, whereas the ending element is not included. So this particular command is going to print these variables, okay, 1 and 2. It is not going to print 3. This particular command is going to print everything from -3 till the end. Okay, so basically the way to access is similar to the list, and there are some of the methods inside the tuples. See, since there is no manipulation, so a lot of methods are not available here, but some of the methods that are available is help. Using help method and just passing your tuple will give you a list of applicable methods, and this is going to be very useful for you. You can just if you are stucking and you cannot seem to remember a particular method, you can use this keyword. Another thing is count. Tuple.count is going, and the value is going to return the number of occurrences of a particular word or element, and the index is going to return the index of the first occurrence of a particular element. Yeah, so this was it for this particular video.